This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
All right. How you feeling, baby? You feeling good?
Feeling good, man. Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year. How much breast do you flash when you're in Bourbon Street?
All of it, man. I take my tatas completely out, man.
That's it, bro. That's it. Did they ever think of just filming and then coming back as a rejoiner with the recorded portion of it?
They needed that live shot just in case something like that happened. In case the game was a blowout, they needed something for ratings, right? That's what that was plan B.
By the way, all the bowl games have sucked, but those two last night were actually pretty damn good, bro. That was actually
amazing.
I had a friend of mine that's a big Bama fan, and he asked me, "You think they'll win?" I go, "Well, it all depends on your quarterback. Will he show up?" And they just didn't. They don't get enough out of that quarterback position in Alabama, and that's why Nick Saban ends up losing.
Yeah, I thought I picked Alabama and Texas to both win. I thought talent would eventually win out, but this is one of those years though where experience, those COVID years, there's a lot of 6th and 7th year guys that should probably be NFL rookies.
Right.
Those are the guys that Washington and Michigan loaded up on, and it helped them sort of overcome maybe some of those talent deficiencies.
Yeah, and let me tell you, the Penix kid played his ass off, bro, for Washington. Washington. So who you got now, Washington or Michigan? I'm going Washington, dude.
Yeah, I think Washington certainly has the better offense, and their defense at times came up with stops last night, right? I mean, the second half, Texas couldn't really move the football until the very end when they were in desperation mode. So I think Penix, he was my Heisman favorite. He's the guy I voted for all the way down the stretch, and to me, he's been the best player in college football the last year or two.
Yeah. What'd you think of the FSU debacle? I felt so bad for Eric Palms and all the great people at the Orange Bowl. They do such a phenomenal job, and that whole Orange Bowl committee, and they deserve better. You know what I'm saying? But it's not their fault. It's a situation, and man, brother, that was a disaster.
Yeah, I don't know why college football insists on playing these bowl games when, you look at last night's games. What I was going to say earlier was, well, yeah, obviously the money, but yeah, that's all they care about. But what I was going to say is, when you give these kids an incentive to play, right? Like look at what happens. You get 2 great ball games last night. Maybe these instead of giving, the title sponsors giving all the money to the schools and the bowls, give it directly to the players, right? Give some incentives for the guys who play. They get $50,000 for playing in the bowl, whatever it is, whatever the amount is, so that they can get something out of playing in the game and staying there. But when we go to the 12-team playoff, I guess this will change. You'll have more games that matter. But at the same time, I feel terrible for FSU because Mike Norvell coached his ass off, and he just couldn't get any kids to want to come and play in that game because they were all heartbroken.
Yeah, I don't blame the kids for feeling like that. They felt they were jobbed, and that's understandable. And listen, 12 teams is too much, but considering how bad the bowls are, I think that was probably one of the reasons why they said, "Hey, man, the more we add, the more interest will be in it because all 12 teams will feel like they have a shot, even if they don't have a shot, and their fan bases will feel like that. So it'll be great television for us. So in a way, it's gonna definitely help out. All right. So Cam Ward said, "Yeah, no, I'm not doing it. I'm going to the NFL instead."
Yeah.
So what happens with the University of Miami at the quarterback position? Because I mean, what are you going to bring, Jakari?
There's a lot of tampering, I'm sure, that's going on behind the scenes, though. Listen, there's another transfer window, right? This current transfer window closes today. Today's the last day to enter the transfer portal if you want to enroll at a new school for the spring. But after the spring is over, there's going to be guys who were involved in quarterback competitions at other places, at good schools, at Georgia, at Alabama, at wherever, who are going to say, I'm tired of sitting. The University of Miami has a really good paying starting quarterback job. I'm going to enter the portal and see if I join the team over the summer. And so Miami's options look limited right now because there's just not a lot in the way of experienced guys. One guy whose name I tweeted out there last night was Jordan McLeod. He's a Tampa native kid. Obviously, we've seen Michael Penix. He's a Tampa area kid. He's had a pretty good career in college. Jordan played at USF, Arizona, James Madison. He's been around the block. I don't know if Miami kicks the tires on him and seriously considers him as an option. But he's an experienced starter. And then after that, you've got a kid who just jumped in from UNLV, who jumped into the transfer portal late. He's a name that people are sort of kicking around as a potential option. Jaden Mava, not super impressive numbers, only 17 touchdowns. But again, I think to me, what we'll really see is what happens in April and which guys decide to enter the portal then. And I think maybe Miami comes back around and finds somebody then.
They better. I mean, nothing against the kid, but Jakari's not the answer. Is he transferring, by the way? Is he heading the portal?
He hasn't hit the portal yet. I think if he's smart, he's seen that Miami hasn't signed a guy yet, right? And he sticks around and competes. Part of this is your options. It's who else is offering you a scholarship. He's a Georgia kid. I thought Georgia Tech and Auburn would be two options for him because he's got talent and ability, and maybe he just goes somewhere else where they can do a better job with him. But Georgia Tech has their quarterback Haynes King coming back. Auburn has guys that they signed, and so this is more about your options, whether or not you enter the transfer portal these days. The smart kids make sure that they have somewhere to go. The dumb ones just jump in there like a bunch of idiots and don't have anywhere to go. So
I kind of got the impression when Jakari decided to play that his options weren't good and that he was use that as a springboard to possibly entice someone.
That's 100%. 100%.
That's what it looked like because there was really no reason. I mean, dude, how bad is the Fletcher injury?
Yeah, I don't know. I wish I could get to the bottom of that. I will at some point. I'll talk to somebody who's around him to get the answer, but I don't think it's necessarily good. I told you on Friday I thought it was really bad. It looked like an Achilles to me, but I'll get a final answer at some point. I just don't think he'll be ready for the start of the season. That looked like a bad foot injury.
Damn, dude. Yeah, it looked bad. I felt so bad because he's an NFL player, like a legit NFL player, like a guy I would love for him to run for the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah. Yeah.
I really like Fletcher, dude. He just looks like a man in that game. And I just, damn, dude, I felt really, really bad for him. All right. What else is going on UM-wise that we should be aware of?
Nothing, man. I mean, there's going to be guys that get into the portal. I think, guys that are sitting at the end of the bench that have to go somewhere. Miami has to get under the 85 scholarship limit. By my count right now, they've got 87. One guy who finally jumped in was Brashard Smith. He decided to enter the portal, the receiver. I think Collins Anchampong, defensive lineman, they signed the last cycle that never, probably wasn't ever going to play here. That's what happens. A lot of fans get all bent out of shape. Oh, man, we couldn't do something with this guy. And he's talented. He was a 4-star, this and that. And it's like, dude, this is happening all over the country. Like, guys just get recycled. Doesn't matter what they were coming in as recruits. If they don't develop, dump them, move on to the next one. That's just the game of college football now. You have to constantly recycle your roster year to year to year. And I tell fans now, get used to 40, 50 guys every offseason, being, new guys being brought in between the portal and the signing classes.
Yeah. All right. Follow him on Twitter at Manny_Navarro. Catch his work there at The Athletic. And as always, catch him doing his thing here twice a week with our Caneswear Miami Hurricanes report. And don't forget, at Caneswear, you can get 10% off. Use our code BIG010. You will get 10% off online or in person at Caneswear.com. Manny, as always, thank you, my brother. We will catch up later on in the week.
Anytime, brother. Take care.
Happy New Year. There you go, Manny Navarro and our Caneswear Miami Hurricanes report.